Hi.
You are.
I am. Ooh. I usually come up here with a very formulated question, and today I don't have that.
Well, that's because we're out here on the leading edge together, and we are discovering new points of clarity.
Yes.
Leading edge is like that.
It feels so good. And that's how I've been living my life these days.
Yeah.
And my vortex has been filling in so specifically and exquisitely. It's brought me to tears so many times.
We like that. We like it when what's in your vortex comes out to play with you, or you let it in. We also really like it when it doesn't have to come out to play for you to feel good. In other words, it's a fine line. The manifestations are evidence, but there's so much pre-manifestational pleasure that we don't really think it's a good idea to get really hooked on the manifestations. Solely. Yeah.
And even that, I've been learning to ride the wave.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good description.
Yeah. And I notice even in moments of contrast, I get a little excited sometimes because I know there's something on the verge of expansion.
That's a good sign for you, because what that means is you've integrated the whole process and you understand the perfection of contrast. In other words, instead of this step one that we've been talking about, step one is you ask, step two is source answers, and step three is you let it in, or you receive it, or you allow it. And step four is you just get really good at that. And step five is now you're back in contrast, but you're not freaked out by the contrast because you understand the value of the contrast. That is optimum human experience.
Yes.
That it just doesn't get any better than that. Than knowing that you can be or do or have anything, and being willing to explore the contrast in order to personally discern what it is that you wish to be or do or have. Yeah.
And I realized for so many years I was trying too hard.
That's all right. Most people do that before they find the power of energy. In other words, it's logical, isn't it, that you would use the resources that you understand. Now you're just understanding that you have other resources, and you're refining your ability to use them.
Yes.
And masters always have understood that. Humans compare themselves with others, and they feel deprived because they don't understand the application of focus and alignment that some have discovered. But once you get the hang of it,
yeah, and there's moments where I'm like, wow, I am a master, I've got this, and then I just get hit with something.
Hit with more opportunity to calibrate.
Yes.
You see, let's say this accurately. Master of what? Master of alignment. How could we better describe that? Master of calibration. A master of calibration. How do you become a master of calibration? You take opportunity to calibrate. How would you take opportunity to calibrate without opportunity to calibrate? If there were no contrast, you could not become a master of calibration. And if you are not a master of calibration, you cannot be a master. So let's embrace contrast fully, yes?
Yes. Taking the opportunity to calibrate is so important, because in that there's a relaxation where it's the step three.
Opportunity is a good word. Opportunity in human words often sounds like do the work of it. Even though you used a positive word, opportunity sounds like I now have work to do. And we would soften that just a little bit by saying follow the flow of fun to calibrate.
Yeah.
A calibrator, once a conscious calibrator, forever a conscious calibrator. In other words, you just can't be a sloppy thinker once you've found the power of focus.
Yes. And I'm enjoying calibrating right now to so many new things that have entered into my experience.
Yes.
Specific things that I have desired for years, all of a sudden have seemed to flow in.
Things that you've understood the underlying vibration of,
Yes.
but because of physical indoctrination, you didn't understand how to integrate what you really know. It's like every single thing that you could possibly think about has the same process, and the more you do it, then the more you do it with ease and satisfaction and results, then the more the next opportunity really feels like an adventure opportunity rather than a challenge opportunity.
Yes. And I'm being presented with one of those all the time. And my question for you...
Before you go there, we want to stick one thing into this. And that is, when you are interacting with others, don't try too hard. Don't let it be too important to you that they understand all of this. Because their reluctance at understanding it is a big hindrance to you.
Yes. That wasn't my question, but that is exactly something I'm experiencing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll lean into that a little bit.
Yeah.
As someone who is an artist who shares myself publicly with the world, I do struggle with needing to explain myself to others.
Struggle because it's impossible. It's not just a struggle, it's futile. We'd give it up.
So, yeah, I feel like I have.
Those who are ready to understand flock to you because the law of attraction demands it.
Yes.
And those who aren't ready, you can't get them there no matter how hard you try. So just keep clarifying your vibration and let the law of attraction bring to you those who are a match.
Yes, and they have been, and they have been.
And those who come who aren't a match are step one. We want to give you something, all of you. Contrast doesn't come to you as something to overcome. Sit with that for a minute. Contrast doesn't come to you as a challenge to overcome. Contrast comes to you as part of the path of least resistance.
Wow.
Which fits with the statement that we encourage you to repeat often: things are always working out for me. No matter how it looks, things are always working out for me. So once you really integrate that into your absolute knowing, then you welcome all of it. And in the absence of trying too hard, you trend less in some of those directions, which means you attract less of the hard subjects. That humans keep thinking the harder it is, the more I'm gaining from it. That doesn't apply in a vibrational world. The harder it is, the more resistance there is. The more resistance there is, the less allowing I am. The less allowing I am, the less movement that I'm making toward what I want. I'm not becoming a vibrational match to my desire. So if you can accept that effort and trying hard is what people have learned to do to try to compensate for the energy flow not flowing. But once the energy flowing is your dominant intention and you've got that down, then the effort factor becomes insignificant to you. You never find yourself trying to do anything.
And as that energy is flowing, can you ever be inspired from a place of alignment to explain yourself?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And when that happens, it's because someone else was on the cusp of something that they've been asking for. They witnessed a manifestation of it in you, and now they would like further clarification. And you know when that is. You can tell with the very first beginning of your explanation. Can you imagine Abraham having this conversation with a normal group of humans out there in the world? They would have walked out. Not funny, no stage production. The video is not good. I'm out of here.
Yeah.